Morning, everybody. Welcome to Lockpod, Indiana's most dangerous podcast.
Good morning.
That was nice and concise.
It was a smooth lead in.
It flows off the tongue.
Are you starting your week-long celebration of St. Patty's Day with that beautiful green, Kelly green jersey?
I was going to wear the jacket, but I'll wait until next week for that.
I like that.
Yeah.
Good.
But,
I like you bring it in strong, though.
Are you in town tonight?
I'm not sure yet.
If you are, you're going with me to Friendly Sons.
All right.
Get your green on. You know
Thank
what I'm
you.
saying? Yeah. Anyway, hey, guys. Morning.
You're
not on, Jill.
Jill, where's Jill? John's hitting buttons feverishly.
Try it now.
Am I here?
Oh.
Hey.
Yeah.
What's up?
You're in the air.
Morning,
Hey.
Jill.
In the cloud.
In the
Good to see
cloud,
you.
in the air.
Channel's making a weird frequency noise.
We got a pretty good show for you today for Season 8, Episode 20. Does anything happen on 8/20?
No.
Okay, so this is 8/20, where nothing's going to happen, but we are going to have a good show. Mayor Tom actually was on the road, so that's exciting because we haven't heard the banjo in a while. We're going to do some exciting stuff about Lockpod in the news. Mayor Tom made some news this week.
Lockpod made some news.
Lockpod made some news. Yeah,
Literally, quoted at length.
Love
in
it.
The local paper from
love
the
it.
Page One story.
We're going to talk about fentanyl. We're going to talk about Lauren Boebert if we have time. And we've got a special call-in from around the world from Dr. Mike.
From Vietnam.
That's around the world, isn't it?
Are we supposed to say who he's dining with?
No, because it may not happen.
It's in the caption, guys.
Yeah. Oh, it's in the
Okay.
caption?
I already put it in the caption.
Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson happened to be at the same location as 4-8.
So we'll see what happens.
We
So
told
hold
him,
tight
get
for
on
that.
If he comes on and they're not on, I say we just cut him
Just
off.
got it right off like 5
Like, dude,
seconds.
We already know it 4-8.
5 seconds.
Yeah. Are they there?
Wait, where's Woody Harrelson? We don't want to
Yeah.
talk to you, Dr.
We
Mike.
just want a quick 4-8 will forever be our friend. He'll be a friend of the show forever. If
He
can
always
get him
will
on.
be.
I'm not kidding you. Don't picture like a nightclub with tons of people and it's like,
No.
they're over there.
No.
It was literally him at a bar, empty, and then McConaughey and Harrelson in a corner.
Okay, hold on.
That
What
sounds
time
like
is
a fever dream.
Yeah.
it? Yeah. What kind of bar is this?
It's
No,
a really
just-
nice hotel. It's inside
it's
a really
hotel
nice
lobby.
hotel.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, he should totally get
What do
that.
you mean by that? What kind of bar is this?
No, I was just picturing some
Oh,
grimy,
Like a hut?
some grimy bar.
No,
I was
no.
like
Grimy
I'm just
bar in
like
Hanoi.
in my head. I like to know what's going on.
I gotcha.
It's
I
like
got
the
a picture
nicest
now.
hotel in Vietnam.
All right.
Okay.
Metropole.
We're
so
going to get a hold
Woody
of him later.
Harrelson and Matthew McConaughey later on in Lockpod.
And 4-8.
And 4-8, whatever.
Doctor in quotes.
He will be my hero forever.
the
if he can pull
formerly
that off.
formerly known as Dr. 4-8.
So if you, Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson happen to be
You
in
know,
Vietnam, I'm
happen to
just
be in
throwing
Lockpod.
that out there. Yeah.
we're going to get to that later. In the
If-
meantime,
if Woody's wife is listening, or
I'm sure they all are.
Matthew McConaughey,
Why wouldn't they be?
significant other, they're in Vietnam right now, hanging with 4-8.
Mm-hmm.
So
Tell us about, let's get some banjo, John. What? It's like instantaneous. You pointed, the banjo came. Mayor Tom on the road segment. Haven't heard that banjo in a while.
yeah,
It's the extended version.
It was.
I
We were enjoying it.
straight up campaign mode. I was supposed to be on a 2-day road trip that was like campaign mode, and I
You
killed
were.
the first day because I'm not in
You
campaign
spiked
mode.
it.
Yeah, I should have. Yeah, but anyway, I ended up in Fort Wayne yesterday for their Obama dinner. No, Obama wasn't in Fort Wayne. That's what they named it. Instead of being JJ, like
Jefferson Jackson, right?
right, which some Democrats
dated.
don't like that. They call it the Obama dinner, and why not celebrate the best president of my lifetime? I like Obama in that regard. I like Obama and Clinton. up
I
there.
agree. I was going to say I like Clinton and Obama. Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So anyway, the Obama dinner was last night, Allen County. Chairman Derek Camp. I was at the head table with Chairman Shmuel and his wife Andrea. I was with obviously Derek was there, the chairman. I was there with Jennifer McCormick, who is a governor's candidate. Who else was there with me?
What a powerful table.
Zach was there.
Nice.
My other work husband. I'm trying to think who else was there.
How was the crowd?
Gosh,
Because
I'm-
Allen County always does a great
Oh,
job.
who else was there? Gosh, I'm like blanking. I swear it's early.
Mayor
in the morning.
Henry?
No, Mayor Henry is in the table next to us. And interestingly enough, everybody in Allen County is running for re-election. So,
Municipal election.
yeah.
How was Mayor Henry? In good spirits?
Seems like it. Well, he's got a lot going on in his family.
Yes.
His wife's ill.
Yes.
Like,
Was
seriously
Cindy with
ill.
him or no?
No. Yeah, she's seriously ill. She's a great lady, too. Cindy Henry. If she's listening, we're thinking about you.
Always been a big fan of you.
Yeah, it was good to see everybody, though. I haven't been to Allen County since the day before Election Day or a couple days before Election Day. So it was nice to get back and nice to see a lot of old friends that helped me a lot when I ran last year. It was a really good time. But I had this dilemma of, because I'm not going to miss the show. I missed 2 shows last week. So it was.
We remember.
What am I going to do? Am I going to stay the night, wake up early, drive back?
That's the worst drive.
Or do it down and back? It's not that bad. It's easier than Indy. It's like,
man, I like Indy better. Not that I'm a fan of 65, but it just seems like Fort Wayne takes longer.
I bet you it's a safer drive.
I agree with you.
Because you don't have the semis.
I agree with you.
Literally on Highway 30 the whole time.
It is a safer drive.
No doubt. But I drove back last night. Got back. It was late, 10 o'clock.
In the weather.
And it just started snowing. I beat it. Literally, it was smart for me because it was going to snow last night in Fort Wayne. It did snow last night in Fort Wayne. And I literally skirted out right before everything. I had a little bit of snow, but nothing accumulated. And by the time I got home, it just started snowing.
Oh, good. Perfect then.
That's
5 hours on the road, though. A little more.
Yeah, it was a day. And
how was the reception? How was it over there?
Well, I was nervous. We're going to get into, in the second segment, we're going to talk a little bit about how I pissed off some people in the Democratic Party by being Tom McDermott, in the last show. And was it the last show? I'm getting
yeah.
I appeared
Tuesday.
at WJOB. I get all my appearances.
Well, so you
up.
were Tuesday on the show, Wednesday on JOB.
But Wednesday is where I pissed everybody off. Is that true?
I think you started it a little bit. You kind of previewed it on
Yeah.
Lockpot and then
I went
continued.
Oh, yeah. Because I was talking about Ron Klain on here.
Ron Klain, I think. Is
Yeah,
what
that
you
was the
said
name
here.
of the episode, I think. Or
Something close to that.
Was it? Yeah, and then the next day I went on JLB and was talking more generally about the party and our shortcomings that I feel. And I'm just one person. I happen to be on the road.
One person with an important voice.
So I'm trying to help by doing this, and I know some people are seriously pissed at me, but
We're gonna
to help.
Let's do some ads and come back. Talk more about it.
That was what I was nervous about yesterday heading to Allen County. Is this is Party Faithful that I'm seeing, and I done really well in Allen County, and everybody likes me there. So if I walk into that room and everybody's like
turning their back on you,
and it was not like that. It was very nice. So
awesome.
It was relieving because I think Zach was a little nervous too because. I was sort of under fire yesterday in particular, and I'm like, geez, I'm supposed to go to the Democratic Party at the front table, and I'm getting fired on,
Well, I think that just goes to show you that, sometimes, it's like a family fight. Everybody still loves each other.
It is a family
fight. It's
fight.
a family fight, and it's just
accurate.
about working things out. So
That's an accurate description.
Let's
Family
do some
fights are the worst, aren't they?
They are. They're the toughest.
But we need. to
sometimes
have this
you need
family
to
fight.
have them, right?
And I think we definitely need this family fight.
Yeah. All right, so let's do some ads real quick. Come back, and we're going to talk about a little family fight.
Hey, before you do ads,
Yes.
Tom, the jobs report is out.
Okay.
What were you hoping for? Good news
It
or
should
bad
be.
news?
It's going to be right around 250,000.
311,000.
Unemployment edged up.
That's good news for me.
3.6.
It's bad news for most people listening right now.
Okay.
That's good news for me. The market's going to tank today. They said
down to 36. Was it going to go all the way down to 3,600? Your prediction?
not today.
All right.
It's in 39.
39,
Right now.
39, 10.
I have it right here. It says, because this is when we started messing with China. The S&P 500 will hit 3,600 one more time.
But didn't
this
you have
year.
to say this
That was
year?
written on
So you
February
say
21st.
2023.
February 21st, 2023. This year, I'll go with that.
Okay.
My contracts expire early next year. I'm right on this, guys. So if you don't like market volatility, today is not going to be your day.
Guess I should have waited.
So did you see what the market's doing? The S&P?
Down a little bit.
Down what?
It says 39.35 on the futures.
Is it red?
It's red.
How much red?
Wait, like the futures? You want to see that? There you go.
The S&P 500 future.
Yeah, plus 225 right now.
Okay, that's what it was when we walked in. But
Refresh.
That.
okay,
Anyway.
See,
Whoa!
what did it do?
Plus 7.
Yeah, it's gonna drop, guys.
All right, we'll see what happens. We'll see by the end of the
I'm not anti-capitalism. I'm not anti-America. I'm just a smart market.
Well, the market
person.
goes up and down.
The market goes up and down.
Yeah.
When you're playing the market, which I do, you got to learn how to make money both ways.
Are
It
you the
was
guy
something-
who bets 7 at the craps table?
No.
No, I don't.
God, I hope not.
I don't gamble.
The don't
John.
pass
John,
guy?
you know the answer
That's
to
right.
that. I don't gamble.
Gambles on the market. Not that that's
I don't
gambling.
gamble on the market. I play the market, and I understand it.
Play it.
Science.
I am a market.
Genius.
No, I am a market observer. How about
There,
that?
I
There
like
you
that.
I've been doing it for over
I
20
like
years,
that.
man.
I
I know
like
it.
that.
I know it. I think I know what I'm talking about.
All right.
So anyway, let's do some ads. We'll come back. We're going to talk a little bit about Lockpot in the
fight.
news, front page story, and it started right here on the last show when we talked about Ron Klain, and it kept going downhill for me. So we'll talk a little bit about that when we get back. So in the meantime, Powering America. Are you looking for a new career in 2023? If you're a person who enjoys working with your hands in a challenging and ever-changing environment, an electrical apprenticeship might be for you. Earn a competitive wage while you gain valuable experience. Did we mention employer-paid benefits, including health insurance, pension, annuities? That's right. If so, visit apply697.com. That's APPLY697.com. POW! Sponsoring by Powering America. Hey, before we go on to the next ad, I want to say to Dodie Russell, I'm very sorry I didn't get to stop by the other day and say hello to you and your mom. I meant to do it. I was at the Hammond Sports Hall of Fame.
Yes.
And I told her I was going to do it. And when I got done with my speech, I was just...
You're out.
I brain farted.
I saw Mrs. Irby. She's in good spirits. It was always nice to see her.
Mm-hmm.
And Dodie.
Yeah.
And Bobby.
I told Dodie I was going over there, so I apologize. So
And Dodie's sister.
yeah.
All right.
All right.
Jill. Good
Rogers
morning.
Roofing. Wow. Yeah. I sound weird. Okay. When you want to be... let's start that over. Jesus Christ. Turn me back down.
JC in the house.
When you want the best for your home and family, trust the best in the business. Rogers Roofing. Rogers Roofing has transformed homes in Northwest Indiana and Chicagoland for more than 54 years, providing quality roofing, siding, gutters, and windows, all backed by the best warranties in the industry. To learn more and to schedule your free consultation, visit rogersroofing.com or call 219-933-9145 today. That's rogersroofing.com, 219-933-9145. And remember, at Rogers Roofing, excellence is expected every time.
Misprint Printing. Misprint specializes in delivering the highest quality signs and printing on time and under budget. Misprint's experience and technology allows them to offer custom, commercial, on-demand printing and sign solutions and brand new business cards, which may or may not be in the studio at this time. Rick Baltonsberger
Oh, gosh, I'm sorry.
and his team
That
have
sounds like a knot.
He's observing the market.
Yeah.
And his team have served Chicagoland and Northwest Indiana for 30 years. They have 2 convenient locations to serve you in Munster and in Hammond. I didn't know if the new ones were here. No, the new ones aren't here. They're in your pocket.
Yep.
All right. Mayor.
Byway
Locomotive.
Brewing. Byway Brewing is a family-friendly microbrewery with a spacious taproom and an outside patio. Our brewing equipment offers a unique backdrop for your private event like weddings, reunions, or corporate parties. We are conveniently located just off of 8094 at the Kennedy Avenue South exit. Come on by and enjoy Byway's award-winning beers and unbeatable menu. For more information, check out bywaybrewing.beer.
The Ron J. Prestomer Insurance Agency has been located for decades right on Indianapolis Boulevard, serving all your insurance needs. They specialize in a wide variety of insurance products and services, including auto, home, business, life, and much more. The Prestomer Agency serves over 1,000 people and businesses in all Chicagoland and the Midwest. Call Ron, Ronnie, or Michael at 219-844-0103.
It's weird with the market. It's weird that good news, because, you would think that when good news comes out, this is a weird thing. When good news comes out, the market usually reacts negatively. It's good news is bad news with the stock market. So today, the jobs report comes out, and it says in February, the unemployment rate rose a little bit to 3.6. But 3.6 historically is a very, very strong unemployment rate.
Last month it was 3.5.
3.4, right?
Yeah, 3.4.
Historically low. And believe it or not, so you would the normal person that doesn't invest in the stock market would think, oh, that's great. Low unemployment, that's great, right? No, that's not great for the stock market investors, because a strong labor market, which is what we have right now, incredibly strong. I read a stat yesterday that for every unemployed person in America, there's 2 job openings.
Wow.
For every unemployed person.
You would think there'd be zero unemployment then.
So like normal stock markets would think, yeah, exactly, if they were taking the jobs that were offered. So a normal person would hear that and say, wow, this is great for the stock market. It's going to blow up. No,
Inflation.
It's exactly opposite, because that's going to be inflationary, which we already have a problem with, and it's going to cause the Federal Reserve to possibly raise interest rates 50 points at the end of the month. I personally think they're going to do 50 points, and I've always thought they were going to do 50 points, and now the market's starting to think that they're going to do 50 points also. Which
Lock
is
in your
bad,
loans quickly.
which is bad for the stock
It's already
market.
up.
If they do 50 points, stock market will drop a few, 3, 4, 5%.
Maybe
So-
it'll get down to the predicted 3,600.
Once it does, I'm selling out of my contract and going long.
All right.
And
we go.
if I do that, yeah,
Here's your stock
I should
advice
have
for
my
the
own
day.
hedge fund.
Market device for the day. Market
Yeah.
advice for the day.
So it's going to be a rocky day. So get used to it. But
So it's all bad news is what you're saying. So even though there's increased job production and a little bit of increased unemployment,
I think it's
Is that
good
a mixed
news.
bag, or is that?
I think it's good news.
It's good news for the economy, right?
It's bad news if you're long in the stock market and you have, yeah. I mean,
Maybe
it's
that's
not
why I'm
like you're
saying it's
never
bad
going to make
news.
money. You're just going to lose money for the next week or so, probably. So, hey, we were on the front page of the news this year. This week.
Congratulations, Lockpod.
That's
Yay.
right. I know. It was basically an expose on our last show about. By the way, I did hear a lot of Ron Klain cracks last night at me. People are coming up. It's like, hey, I think Ron Klain's coming. I heard stuff like that last night a lot.
Is it this one?
People
Yeah,
screwing with you.
former Biden chief of staff won't run in Indiana's U.S. Senate contest.
It's a screenshot of the podcast.
Yeah,
Good Lord.
it was on page
Wow.
one. That was on page one. And then I'm in my disco. I changed my profile picture yesterday because I saw Disco Tom on the front
I
page of
saw
the
that.
paper. I thought it was time.
It was time to move it.
It was time to change it.
That's funny.
There's something about Disco Tom that doesn't scream official business.
I think that's true.
Right.
It screams 219 day.
Yeah, it screams 219 day. So I changed Disco Tom out back to a more formal.
Look at that. That was a great article. We both made the picture.
Yeah.
They screenshot your tweet.
By the way, I'm wearing my Hammond Central jersey, which is totally like good mayor stuff.
And by the way, even on the screenshot from the next article that Cardin did with when you were on Jed TV on JOB on Wednesday, WJOB, you had your Wolves shirt on too.
Yeah.
Wait.
Promoting the Hammond.
I was
Wolves.
asking Cardin to cover Kevin's face completely. He didn't listen.
Yeah, it
so.
would have been a much better looking photo.
Really?
if you
Like just a
covered my whole
little bit
face,
higher, Kevin would have been completely covered.
as if I wasn't there.
It would have been just me. But we
You
did
know.
get the logo.
Caboose is used to that.
The logo was in there. But yeah.
This
Oh,
tweet was in the paper.
Front
Quite
page.
frankly, you're a jagoff.
yeah. That was in the paper.
That's good stuff.
What is jagoff is basically like saying jerk, right?
Well, I think more aggressive. I think
Yeah.
jagoff
you're
is
a
definitely-
jerk.
Exponentially.
That doesn't sound
Exponentially more
exponentially more. Yeah.
But it is saying like jerk. You're exponentially
Like jerk on steroids.
okay. See, that's not
Yeah.
that bad. It's not that bad. Jagoff's not that bad,
All right.
is it?
I'd
too
say
late
if
now.
somebody called me a jerk versus somebody called me a jagoff, I'd say jagoff. They feel much more strongly
Yeah.
about what I did.
And then if it's tweeted, it's actually a lot more official. It's like there, right?
It's out there.
I know, and I don't take tweets down,
No,
so I just gotta live
It's
with
there.
it. Yeah,
mean,
I don't ever take tweets
you've
down.
said you know what? Sometimes I say things I maybe shouldn't, and I apologize for them, and we move on.
Wouldn't you rather have somebody who was honest with you instead
Absolutely.
of freaking lying constantly and then going home and like kicking
Tell me how
holes
you
in the
really
wall?
feel.
Thank you. That's what people were saying to me.
That's how
yesterday
you felt
also.
at that moment.
I felt that way
When you got off the plane.
and I was level-headed. I just got off of 5 days of vacation.
That's
I was
right.
totally level-headed.
So think about if you're really pissed
if
off.
I was pissed off, it would have had F-bombs in there for sure. It did not have F-bombs, so it turned out really well.
I challenged Dan Cardin to like somehow get this in the paper with a screenshot, so it'll be a screenshot of a screenshot of a screenshot.
yeah,
And we just
Yes.
keep playing this game.
so we
That would be funny.
become set on top of each other.
Let's all like do a group picture if he's gonna use it. We'll like all come over here and pose.
That could be the next swag like T-shirt. Is the picture of the
Yeah.
tweet in the tweet in the tweet.
I
The
love it.
infinite
I love it.
sweatshirt. That's a great idea.
That'd be a great limited drop. Yeah.
All right, so let's get into the meat of this, though.
I didn't like the headline, but I don't write the headline. So, Lockpod's in the news. This is the headline. It said, Mayor Tom's doomsday prediction, the Democratic Party.
Yeah, but I think that was
McDermott proclaims Democrats are doomed in upcoming Indiana election. Sorry, I read the wrong headline.
When are they not though? I mean, when was
Right?
the
I mean,
last
first off, we've been
This is
doomed
not
for 20
breaking
years.
news.
Right? We've been doomed since Mitch Daniels walked in the governor's mansion.
the
we
last
haven't-
time
we've
we
won,
won a
what, twice?
statewide race was 2012, right?
Right.
Did I skip anybody? Am
No.
I missing someone important that I forgot?
We had 2 that year. And it
Yeah.
wasn't even because of the party as much as the candidates, the Republican candidates were flawed. We had Glenda Ritz won that year, superintendent of public instruction, and we had Joe Donnelly win that year running for U.S. Senate.
Yeah, so let's talk about that a little bit because it's an interesting history, right? 2012, you've got Dick Lugar, statesman extraordinaire.
Yeah. We
respected
didn't
around the world.
6 years before that, the Democratic Party didn't even put a candidate up against Richard Lugar.
Right. That's
Didn't
how much
even
he
put a
was
candidate for
respected in
U.S.
Indiana.
Senate. Didn't even contest him.
6 years later, the Republican Party puts a primary candidate against him. This is like Tea
and
Party
beats him.
time, and they beat him. Think about that. So now you think that the seat, it's starting the shift change, right? It's going to go, a seat change is starting to happen.
That was a really good indicator. If the Republicans are going to toss Richard Lugar out on his ear, I mean,
Something's happening.
That was like if it was a tsunami, that was when all the water left the beach.
It's like beginning of the You're a Rhino.
Right.
And then so
the Tea Party started becoming a lot more active, or was active at that point. Tea Party started in
Very much
2010. So 2012, Tea Party's out there. Republican Party is
primarying
in turmoil.
people.
They primaried Richard Lugar, which is unheard of in Indiana, and it was unheard of to even think that Richard Lugar was going to lose. Well, he lost.
And then Donnelly was unopposed in the primary, and then as it gets close to the election, they're in a debate, and Murdoch was asked during the final minutes whether abortion should be allowed in cases of rape or incest, and he replied, I think even when life begins, that's something God intended to happen.
Which is honestly the ironic thing. So, Murdoch at the time says that and goes on to lose his election.
48-46.
Because of that statement. But when I ran for U.S. Senate, most of the Republicans were saying that.
Yeah.
So, if Murdoch was 10 years later, he would have been right on the cusp of modern Republican philosophy, but he was 10 years too early when he said that. He literally lost his election because of that statement. So Joe Donnelly won that year.
And then, so as you mentioned, so did Glenda Ritz.
Did Joe Donnelly win or did Murdoch lose?
Good question. It was a tight race all year because of the fact that they beat Lugar, so it was kind of a new situation. It was the first time somebody had been in that position where they had gotten rid of, and the Republican Party's probably like, what is this?
It was an open seat.
Yeah, it was.
Because Lugar lost.
Right. So, and Joe won. Joe D won 48-46. So then you also mentioned...
Okay, so the question is, did Joe Donnelly win that election or did Richard Murdoch lose?
I think that's
Let's leave it up in there because the next one is sort of a similar situation.
Yeah, so then you have Glenda Ritz and Tony Bennett. Tony Bennett, the incumbent...
Glenda Ritz, you remember her, Joe?
Yes.
Do you remember Tony Bennett?
I remember the name.
The reason I ask you is because you're a teacher at that time. In 2012, you were teaching, right?
Yeah, let's see.
That's a long time ago, 10 years.
I might have been out by then.
Okay. But anyway, Tony
I
Bennett...
recognize the names, yeah.
Tony Bennett was the superintendent of public instruction. He started in 2008, so that definitely might cover your tenure.
At that time, an elected position, by the way.
An elected statewide position. So Tony Bennett, superintendent of public instruction. He's on the leading edge of all this charter school stuff and testing and all the battles against schools that are common now.
Restricted union bargaining rights, trying to do teacher get incentive pay based on their merit-based pay for teachers.
So Tony Bennett also, just like Richard Murdoch, is sort of on the leading edge of what is common now, is attacking teachers, attacking schools, attacking curriculum. Tony Bennett did it 10 years too early, just like Richard Murdoch. A little too early, Tony. Tony was out on the leading edge.
Yeah.
He was very controversial amongst teachers. And Glenda Ritz comes along, and she's a breath of fresh air, and she's a teacher, and she's running for superintendent of public instruction, and the teachers swelled up. It was the total grassroots effort. Glenda Ritz becomes superintendent of public instruction, wins a statewide race the same year.
As a Democrat.
So did she win it, or did Tony lose it? That's a question also.
And she won at 52-49, and there had
so she had a bigger margin.
Yes, than Joe did.
Did.
And she also, of note, there had not been a Democrat elected as superintendent, which is a quote unquote down ballot race since 1971.
So 2012 was the last time our party, the Democratic Party in Indiana, was successful. We had two people win statewide races that year. One of them, I would say, no offense to Joe, I love Joe Donnelly, he's my friend. But Murdoch definitely blew it in that race. Late, too. He said something incredibly dumb and lost the race because of it. Glenda Ritz, I'm not going to say that Tony Bennett lost it.
He was embattled. He was
embattled, but the teachers, I just remember seeing teachers everywhere supporting Glenda Ritz.
But I think
that was, to me, like a grassroots thing.
But I think they came out in response to how bad they believed Tony Bennett was to them.
Agree.
Right? So I think, and the point we're trying to make, I think, here is, look, if the Republicans put out a candidate that's embattled, that is a bad candidate, Hoosier voters reacted and put in the quote-unquote better candidate, or they reacted to I put my foot in my mouth and elected the other person.
This is important stuff that Kevin and I are covering here because the last time we ran a race in Indiana, the Indiana Democrats, was 2012, and we just pointed out how the two people that won in 2012, one of them was definitely, no offense to Joe again, I love Joe Donnelly, but Murdoch blew it. That's why Joe won. Okay, if Murdoch doesn't say what he said in that debate, Joe probably loses a close race.
So let's look at 2016.
But Glenda Ritz, it's up in the air whether or not. Right.
I think either way, you had to say that Tony Bennett, kind of got everybody riled up, and they came out and voted. Okay. So, but if Glenda was a good candidate, of course, just like Joe was.
So what's 2016?
2016, I think, is important just to look at some numbers. So 2016, you've got Pence was going to run, and everybody thought he's done all this social, social agenda.
Pence was going down.
He was going down.
I think Pence was going down in 2016.
He gets rescued by Trump and put as part of the ticket. And then you had John Gregg.
If you remember in
Christina
2016,
Hale.
do you guys remember that? John and Jill?
Yes.
The Fire Mike Pence?
Mm-hmm.
All over.
Oh, yeah.
He was going down.
In Indy, it was embarrassed. I was embarrassed for Pence. Like, you would drive around Indy. This wasn't even an election year. It was like in 2015, there were Fire Mike Pence signs all over Indianapolis. It was after RFRA. He was embattled. He was just horrible, honestly. And I'm not I am anti Mike Pence. Don't get me wrong. But I met him. I know him. He's a nice person face to face. But like, he was a horrible
guy. Politics. Yeah,
he was a horrible governor.
He was a bad governor.
He was a horrible governor. He was really the worst governor I've seen since I've been in office. And no disrespect. He was social warfare.
His agenda was so much more about social and things like that than it was about business.
And by the way, he just got done
Indiana better,
taking over for Mitch Daniels, who, and Mitch was in the other party, obviously, but quite frankly, he was a strong governor. He was bold. He did things that you weren't used to seeing.
He specifically said we're not going to have a social agenda.
Right.
Yeah.
And I, so when Mike Pence took over after Mitch Daniels, it was a stark contrast.
So 2016, so Pence gets rescued literally by helicopter to Manhattan and goes on the national ticket with Trump. And then Holcomb comes in and runs with Suzanne Crouch and Jennifer McCormick, who's running as the superintendent against Glenda Ritz. And by the way, Democrats had strong candidates: John Gregg, Christina Hale.
I thought for sure
great ticket.
That was our year.
Yeah,
we all
great
thought.
ticket.
And that's the year Trump ran for the. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure most people are aware of that, but so Trump runs. We have the strongest ticket ever. John Gregg had run 4 years earlier, lost a close one. John Gregg was running the best campaign I've seen.
Yeah.
Tim Henderson, his campaign manager, is a good friend of ours. It was clicking. Christina Hale was an amazing
great lieutenant governor
candidate. They were kicking ass. I thought for sure that was our year.
And then Trump and Pence come in and just annihilate Hillary in Indiana 56-37. So almost a 20-point, 56-37. So what is that? My math's bad right now. 19 points?
Okay.
Right?
So basically what we're saying is this. This is where it's starting to get bad. But the thing that really made it for me was the 2022 race, okay? Because we did have a flawed candidate in 2022.
Let me mention one more thing about 2016. Hale and Gregg only lost by 6 points to Holcomb and McCormick and all those folks.
Which is, by the way, it's a presidential election year, which is encouraging for people thinking about running next year, is the numbers are a lot different. Let's go to 2022, though. It's not a presidential election year. It's an off election. We had a flawed candidate in 2022 in Diego Morales, who's running for Secretary of State. Okay.
Yeah.
And we had a great candidate running against Diego. It was Destiny Scott Wells, a friend of mine. I was with her last night. Okay. Destiny is a great candidate. She's an attorney. She's smart. She's aggressive. She's a mom. She's running a great race against a flawed candidate. Let's just be honest. Diego's he's still flawed.
Fired twice by the same place he's trying to run for. He's fired twice, once by Todd Rokita and once by whoever else. Maybe it's twice by Todd Rokita.
And during the campaign, he's making mistake after mistake. He
buys himself a Camry.
He's being covered. I mean, that's not illegal. He was just like, he was being dogged. He did with campaign money. He bought himself a car.
A Camry, though?
I don't know. I'm just making it up. I don't know what it was.
He bought a car with his campaign money. Yeah. He did, but he was being hounded by the press. Just a horrible candidate, and the contrast was so great because Destiny was just a great candidate doing her thing. Diego's a crappy candidate. I honestly thought Destiny was going to win. I think a lot of people did think Destiny was going to win, and it didn't turn out that way.
59-41.
And so, and we're not obviously. I lost just as bad. Okay?
I think the reason I'm saying the numbers, Tom, is that it is, to me, I feel like you've in the past, and this is why we went through the history. These were close races. And Joe Donnelly and Richard Murdoch were close races. Mm-hmm. When you had Glenda Ritz and Tony Bennett, they were close races.
Right, with flawed candidates, we're saying.
Right, and
when a flawed candidate would be president, in Indiana, it was possible for a Democrat to beat the flawed candidate. Now it's getting more and more lopsided, where even with a flawed Republican candidate like Diego, we can't beat this guy.
You're not seeing crossover votes.
And Destiny is a great candidate. Yeah, I'm not saying Destiny's a great candidate. She should have
won that race.
So Hoosiers aren't listening? Is that what we're saying?
And when I say she should have run that race, I don't mean for lack of effort.
No.
I mean, she ran a
Destiny
great campaign.
Ran just as hard as I did, for sure. And she raised money. She did everything she was supposed to.
What I would say is that I think it's indicative of what's happening around the country in certain places. And Indiana is like ground zero for that. It's like everyone's in their corner. And I'm not going to cross over anymore. And so it's like, you're sitting here and you're facing what's the future?
Do I answer this?
What's the future?
Yes.
Okay. But we're not going to put him on yet because I want so Tom, let's go into, now that we've done the history, talk about what you were saying and what you were meaning in this article with in the about Democrats in Indiana. Because I think it's important.
I'm trying to be honest and just what I've seen. And so I came out and take it from a guy that recently met thousands of Hoosiers. Going further to the left isn't the answer. This was my tweets yesterday after I go on WJLB and there's a huge article on page 1. So I started retweeting basically. And I said, if we're going to win in Indiana, we got to be like Senator Evan Bayh and Joe Donnelly. That's how we're going to win here. It's just the facts. What I was insinuating is we got to be in the center. We can't drift to the left as a party and expect to be successful in a conservative state. So I'm coming out I'm trying to be constructive here. I want to win. I'm not like announcing my party change like some people accuse me of. I want to win in the Democratic Party. We used to win in the Democratic Party. Things aren't going the right way. I want to be part of the solution. And I don't think kissing each other's ass and telling each other everything's going to be fine is going to get it done. I think that we need to have tough conversations. So I put myself out there yesterday.
Well, and what kind of reaction did you get?
Shitty, man. I got my ass kicked. On Twitter especially, man. I just got tore up.
Well, it was interesting. I thought it was a little bit of a mixed bag, and I thought I thought that it was nice that you kind of were responding to people that were actually
I was
tweeting.
real-time tweeting with them for about an hour and a half.
Yeah, John, do you have those up? Can you bring those?
Yep.
Yeah. So these are interesting. Here we go. Here's some of them. And this is right after you said, right, Mayor, take it from a guy who's met thousands of Hoosiers. Going further to the left isn't the answer.
Right. So Mackie Lee says, how did Michigan do it? I concede they had national help and they seem better organized and have better messaging by far, but they're not middle Democrats. And I said, great question, Mackie. That should be directed at our state chairman, not me. I'm just the mayor of Hammond. If I were in charge of Indiana Democrats, I'd sure be visiting Michigan and Wisconsin, two similar states with thriving Democratic Party. What are they doing that we're not,
Yeah, and then I guess in the Times ad, just to kind of go back to that, you said, look, I respect the party leadership and the work that
Mike and I were together last night. I think Mike's the answer. We need a lot of help, though. It's not just Mike that's going to be able to get it done.
And then the next question.
Dude, this one really got me.
Go ahead.
I hear this a lot. So, this statement came at me a lot yesterday. Is basically, Jess B-side says, we're not winning anyway. I'd rather be true to my values than to cater to people who've fell for the hate and propaganda that right-wing pundits constantly spew. They hate us because we're Democrats. They don't even want to hear what we stand for. I said that's a very true statement, but this is what I'm hearing from the party, from Democrats, is why should I moderate my views at all? We're never going to win. So I'd rather be true to my ideals and stay hardcore over here than win an election, which makes me wonder. Jill and John, Kevin and I talked about this yesterday. Mm-hmm. I think that if our party was presented with this option, they came up to our party as a collective and they said, Democratic Party in Indiana, you could win the governor's race if you do this, this, and this. It's a guarantee. If you moderate your views on this issue, and this issue, you will win the governor's race in Indiana. We would have a significant percentage of the Indiana Democrats that say we're not going to do it. Even if they knew by moderating on these three issues, they would definitely win. There would be people in our party that said no.
I'm in, by the way.
I would be in too. If you knew for a fact you could win, but there'd be people in our party that would say, nope, I'm not going to do it.
John, pull up the tweet from Maddie. This is interesting because I think it goes right to what Tom just mentioned. And she says, it's a little bit below that, or I think just below that. Yep. Yeah. Go ahead, Tom.
This is from Maddie. Democrats should absolutely not run like Donnelly in Indiana. When Democrats try to go to the middle to appeal to conservatives, it never works. The same issue happened in New York. We need to keep going further left. We can't afford to compromise anymore.
So she's kind of got the opposite view of what you have. Right.
Instead of catering our views more to the voters of Indiana who are conservative, she's saying, screw it. We're never going to win. Go further to the left. That's a problem. That's a problem. Right?
It's insane.
Yep. And then,
but this is not an isolated view, and I'm not talking crap about Maddie. Maddie represents a significant part of our party, and this is our dilemma. Is there's people that are like, hey, Tom, we're not going to win in Indiana. Get over it. So let's just stay hardcore, true to our beliefs over here. We're just going to sit here further and further to the left because we have no chance in this state.
And then another viewpoint, John, if you scroll down a little bit more, this was interesting to me. Mad Voters Indiana says, I want to add that our abysmal voter turnout. How do we inspire voters to show up? We meet them where they are and get information to them. We can't count on regular people to know what's happening. We have to work smarter. And then Wear Your Mask says, Republicans in Indiana have done an excellent job convincing voters that Indiana is so red, it's pointless to vote. Apathy is a big problem. And so, I think that's one of the things that it's not necessarily candidate driven, but sometimes it's voter driven too. Like if you've been beaten down so much, is it just kind of like you roll over and say, does my vote count anymore? And I think that's another problem, that as a state party and as a party, we need to make sure people are convinced that when you go out and vote, great things can happen. And you just point to Donnelly, maybe you point to Obama in 08. But, I mean, it's almost like it's becoming ancient history as we keep moving, right? Obama in 08 is 15 years ago.
Yeah, that was an aberration, too. Yeah. He was a rock star.
Yeah.
How about this one? Fight me, Mike Braun, it says. The whole effing country, I didn't say the word, the whole effing country has been dragged to the right for 40 years due to compromise. There's never any compromise back to the left. So no, I will not be backing down, and we need a sharp left turn. He's saying this to me. I respond back. I said, then let's be honest what our future will look like in Indiana. A sharp left turn for the Indiana Democrats equals continued electoral losses and Governor Mike Braun along with Senator Jim Banks. Or we can learn from past mistakes and correct them in time to make a difference. That was my tweet. Very, very poorly received. Very poorly received. Yeah, but it was
I don't like I don't like hearing Governor Mike Braun and Senator Jim Banks.
That's what I'm trying to freaking do, is like talk sense into our party.
If you see that as a Democrat, you're gonna be like, oh my God, we can't have that. We can't have that.
Thank you.
So how do we solve it?
But it's like anything else, you're never gonna get 100% of what you want. So at some point, you choose the less of two evils.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just want 50 plus one.
But Jill, going back to my analogy earlier, if there's a significant part of our party, and Fight Me Mike Braun Twitter handle is probably one of them, that said, if you compromise on this issue, and this issue, you will win the governorship. There'd be people in our party that said no.
Oh, 100%.
They don't want to win. They want to be idealistic. Right. They don't want to win. I want to win races. That's how we implement our vision, is we win races. Mm-hmm. Not be idealists that lose every time.
I want to hit a couple more of these. Robert Enders, this is the last, I think, one, John. He says, the post-2020 GOP is the party of theocrats and anti-vax conspiracy theorists. Beating them as a matter of getting funding. Far-left candidates would scare off donors. And then Leslie says, Thomas McDermott stands for morals and you might win. Stand for morals and you might win.
I don't know that I mean, that Mike Braun, the fake Mike Braun, I don't know. I don't think anything's being pulled to the right or the left. I think we're all digging in. And nothing's getting done.
Well, that's right. Like I was saying, John, everybody goes their corner, and they don't even necessarily look at the candidates anymore.
Right.
And then you want to read that Josh Haynes one time? I think that was a good one, too.
I think in all fairness, your campaign was further left than by Ann Donnelly. The problem isn't policies. It's that you are a Democrat, and a sizable chunk of Indiana won't vote for you because of that. And with straight ticket voting, we'll get even less split tickets.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought, and by the way, this is what I love about Tom getting out there on Front Street on this issue. Like, he started this discussion. This discussion wasn't happening.
No. Yeah.
I mean, there was trying to get it going. I heard a couple other people kind of put something out there a couple weeks ago, maybe a week ago, and then Tom hits it hard, and it starts the discussion.
Out of me, yeah.
But I mean,
this is, how about this one? Lost a voter here. He's talking to me, and he's pissed.
Yeah.
Lost a voter here. Doubt any right-leaning Hoosiers went your way because of this. Your revision on messaging seems to be working great. As a straight, white, middle, low-class Hoosier, I feel at home with progressive Democrats and anti-union, ? I would have never voted for you.
I think he missed.
A lot of people did. Because what I was saying on this show, actually, no, I was on WJLB.
Right.
And they were asking, well, what's wrong with the party? I said, dude, I'm a white, heterosexual, non-union male.
Yeah, and you didn't mean anti-union. You just meant, I'm not in a union.
I'm not in a union, right? It's like I have a 100% voting record. I'm personally not in the union. And a lot of people are like, you're non-union? It's like, dude, just talk to the union
Non-union
members.
Doesn't mean anti-union.
That's right. I am not in a union, right? It's like I am professional, I'm not in the union. And so the whole thing was a shit show. Yesterday was a shit show for me. So I'm driving out to Fort Wayne. Like, I don't know what my reception is going to be like when I go to this event. It's all the party faithful. And I'm sitting at a table with Mike Schmuel. So I pull in, and everybody was wonderful to me.
That's because they appreciate the fact that you're active in the party and you ran statewide and you put it out there. So
I lost one Twitter follower yesterday, and I gained 3.
I think you'll take that.
I was a net plus 2.
All right, listen, we're going to do ads real quick.
And then we got
Dr. Mike Forride is on standby in Vietnam, and we're going to come back to him right after we do the ads. So let's do those real quick. Mayor, Locomotive.
Cantrell and Cantrell, attorneys at law. Are you injured? Are you in trouble with the law? If so, give us a call and schedule your consultation today with somebody who's in the court and at the jail every day. Call John Cantrell at 219-554-4LAW. That's 219-554-4529. Or visit their website at bettercallcantrell.com. John and his wife, Kristen, make a great team and are waiting to hear from you.
Tortillas Nuevo Leon is the gold standard in Mexican cuisine throughout the Midwest. Look for Tortillas Nuevo Leon's popular red and white label at your local grocery store and enjoy quality Mexican products made with local expertise.
Tortillas Nuevo León, hechas con amor, para ti tu
Somewhere in there is the
familia de
tortilla
todo
song.
corazón.
Here it comes.
Tortillas Nuevo León, hechas con amor, para ti tu familia, de todo corazón.
They can't hear Mike. Just
Try
the tortilla
Electronics
song,
wants
by
to
the
be
way.
your complete communications provider. Try Electronics has been a leader in this industry for more than 55 years. Dedicated to assisting their clients with their systems integration needs, Try Electronics has the expertise and experience to provide superior results for a wide variety of projects. For more information, call Try Electronics today at 800-722-6793. That's Try Electronics.
Calumet Brewing. It's time to experience Michelob Ultra. With only 95 calories, 2.6 carbs, and a 4.2 ABV, it's the perfect way to keep your New Year resolutions in check. Whether you're a pro athlete or just an employee Olympics participant, the journey is only worth it if you enjoy it. That's why Michelob Ultra brews a light lager that's worth every single sip. So no matter if you're kicking back after a workout or enjoying a day on the slopes, you're sure to enjoy a great beer. Head over to Cal Brew or Michelob Ultra websites and social media pages for details on his great family of beers. Enjoy the Ultra lifestyle with beers and cheers responsibly.
Chris Jones at Properties, I should say. Looking to buy your dream home? Chris Jones with At Properties can help. All across Northwest Indiana, it's a great time to buy with properties available at all price ranges. And if you're considering a sale, it is getting close to springtime, a great time to sell your house. Chris Jones will get your house sold for top dollar. He sold some of the most expensive homes in Hammond and Munster last year. Contact Chris Jones at chrisjones@atproperties.com for a market analysis or to discuss the home qualities you're looking for. That's Chris Jones at atproperties.com. Thanks
right.
to our sponsors.
This guy's been itching to get on.
Yeah, look at him. He's just
Mike.
Yo,
What's up, Dr. Mike Forwright? Live
up,
from
beautiful
Vietnam.
face.
Hi, you guys. Tommy, you
What
ate your
time is
spinach-
it?
You ate your spinach. It's like 17 in the morning.
Hey,
It's somewhere.
can you
It's
hear us all
somewhere.
right?
It's like 12 hours different from you guys.
What day is
Sun
it?
flips upside down. It's ahead of you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
if
where's
you're-
Matthew
it's,
McConaughey?
It's Friday night. He's right in front of me over here.
All right. So
Can
But
you
like,
go over there?
I haven't crossed paths with him yet. And Woody
Oh.
too. And Woody's
that's
supposed
the
to be
only,
able to.
that's
Woody's
the
got
only
to
reason
do
we
some
put you
kind of
on, man.
What's that?
That's the only reason we put you on, man.
Welcome to the Four-Eyed Zone.
Listen, if it takes that, I'll find somebody every week.
Okay.
I'll find somebody every week on your show because your
Hey,
show's the most important to me. Tommy,
you're
you ate your
doing a-
Wheaties this morning, baby. You're all pumped up.
We're in the 4
No,
I,
I
was
I
in
love that we're
trouble.
just getting
Hold
a
on.
nice close-up of his face and ear.
Hold on. I just got offline with you guys. Here I am.
No, we can hear you.
There
We
he
can hear you.
is. Now you're looking.
Maybe
I'm
the
in a
problem
weird-
is you're walking all over the damn restaurant. I mean, why don't you sit still?
It's not
He's
a restaurant.
spinning.
It's not a restaurant. It's a beautiful. It's an absolutely.
Oh my god. I need drama, man.
Dude, I'm getting stressed just like
It's an
talking to you.
absolutely beautiful place.
Yeah.
It's an absolutely beautiful place, and I'm going to show you this. It's
We can't see
it's
it.
really a sweet old French. It's a sweet old French hotel, and it's called the Sofitel Metropole. And this is a piece that was done by Joan Baez when she stayed here during '73 when they were bombing outside, and because she stayed in their shelters for almost a week's time, she was here with a delegation for peace.
We can't.
and
We
they
can
were
see your
hosted-
eyeball. I can't really see the picture. I'll be honest.
Oh, there it is.
It's
There
very-
it is. There's the kid. It's shown by his work right there, and it's
That's
really
pretty,
a beautiful
that's
piece.
pretty cool.
That is cool.
It is cool.
Oh, it's totally cool.
You look like
You
you're
think I'm
roughing it. It doesn't look like a very nice hotel at all. You got like pieces of artwork in the lobby.
It's a great spot, man.
Yeah.
And that's why these guys are here. These guys were an hour away yesterday, and there was a photo of them, and that somebody posted, and somewhere that they were at a site that was an hour drive from here, and this is right across the street from where I'm staying, and I'm here all the time, and it's like, oh, here they are tonight. They got a group of like, and Matthew's he's the most handsome of the entire bunch.
Why
turn it
haven't they
around to
invited you over yet?
Well, not yet. Hang on a second.
Yeah, Mike, just walk over there. I mean, you're never going to see these people again. Who cares?
Yeah, they don't care.
You know?
I'll just fall on the table.
Yes,
Oh my
I've seen
God.
that.
So I'm
I've seen
embarrassed
that
for you.
pratfall before.
He does that. He
You
does
guys
that.
are
Yes.
so blunt. You guys are blunt,
Yeah.
You just get it done. Tommy's like that. Just barge in and do things like that.
It's a button on
Which
your
I
phone.
love
You
with
just
Tommy,
twist it around,
Tommy,
Mike.
which
Dude,
what I love about
You know what we're
Love that
looking
about
at your ear right now, right? Like,
Can't you hit the
we're
button
looking
on
right
the
in your ear.
So this is really
The chat is
this
hilarious.
is really a nice spot.
Very nice.
Yeah, it's really beautiful.
What's
let me
the
take you outside.
temperature?
Let me take you outside and show you what outside looks like.
Hey, man,
'Cause
why don't
this
you
is-
flip that camera around so we can see what we're like?
Yeah, all you have to do is
We can still talk to you. Yeah, flip the
I'm
camera
not gonna
around.
do this shit.
look at him.
I'm looking down your ear canal.
Your ears look good, but we're not seeing much of Vietnam.
He could be back in America for all we know.
Yes.
This is my view of
Yes,
Mike
Griffith.
Forright in Vietnam,
See what street
looking
life
down
looks
his
like,
ear
okay?
canal.
He
Okay,
still
we're
hasn't hit
moving.
that button.
I don't know how to fix this shit. I don't know how to correct it.
Oh, I love the fluoride zone.
And so here we're outside now.
Whoa, whoa.
This is
that-
street life.
Is that Hanoi?
This
Mike?
Is,
Oh, we're going to lose him.
All right.
Is he in Saigon or Hanoi?
All right.
this is.
All right. Hey, Dr. Mike, we're losing you, brother.
Everybody wants to do decent. Nobody wants to ruin anybody else's day. Look at they just keep on moving. Look at this. Why screw up somebody else's time? Everybody's trying to do their absolute best. They all aspire to be the very best here.
Yeah.
I mean, just look at this noise.
Yeah. What time is it
It's
out there?
really amazing.
What time
12
is it?
12 hours.
Tommy, I can't blame you for wanting to keep on pushing all the way left and keep on going with what you believe, because I know that you believe in wanting everybody to have their best life, and it really is what they do here. And it's amazing to watch that these guys really want to sort of avoid screwing each other's day up.
That's nice.
It's really beautiful. It's like you can flow with 1,000 people. I'll walk into an intersection here.
Don't
And
be
you can just
careful.
flow.
Yeah, we don't want to.
Somebody's
Yeah.
day.
Oh my God!
The death of Mike Forright right on
Don't
the.
Don't worry about it, man. They're not going to hit.
That would be an.
These people
Are you
not
literally
interested
walking
in
into
hitting you,
traffic
man.
There's
right
the
now?
bus.
Christ.
You know.
Freaking
You
Americans.
know. I mean, look at this. Look at the mountain.
That guy gave you the
clouds.
finger.
They all give me the finger. You know.
He thinks they're in love with him. They
No,
all
they're
hate him.
sweet, man. Look at this. Nobody has no hatred here. This is one of the This is one of the happiest countries on the entire world.
It's hard to be mad at you
And
with
they
your
have
Mr.
large-
Bill
I
shirt
was
on.
just gonna say
right?
that Mr. Bill shirt.
I mean, look at this. Look at this activity at night.
What?
I mean,
But it's
check
only
this
7
out.
o'clock. It's not like it's late, dude.
Oh, but look at this is life.
That's great. I love the fact that you're downloading Lockpod in Vietnam. Thank you
I do
for that.
too.
We're quickly becoming Vietnam's #1 podcast.
Look at that.
Welcome to Hanoi.
Thanks.
The capital. This is where Ho Chi Minh's laid out.
No way.
Yeah, he's here. He believed in. He said this. He said, learn more, learn forever.
Wow.
And I dig that about
All
him.
right, man. That's the name of the
Okay.
show, brother.
I
Hey,
think you just did it.
hey, Forright, we got to get going, brother.
Listen, I'm glad that you had me for a frickin' moment. I mean, I show you the best shit I can show you, and you guys, you know,
Live from the
they
streets
had
of
a, and
Hanoi.
this is for John. They had the president of the country who was underneath the Secretary General who reports directly to the socialist government. The president's name was Fuck, just like our previous president, Fuckhead. that we had.
Wow!
Live,
Yeah,
right.
welcome from Hanoi, John.
Live from Forright's right ear.
Oh, we just lost him,
Yeah,
man. How about
thanks,
that?
Dr.
Sorry.
Mike. God damn, never looking at his ear the
See,
same
when
way
you,
again.
when you mess with the guy at the controls, that's what happens, right,
Yeah.
John?
That was live from the streets of Hanoi. Where else do you get live
around
from
the
Hanoi,
world.
right?
Around the world.
Unbelievable.
Thanks to our foreign correspondent, Dr. Mike Forright. He didn't give us Woody Harrelson and Matthew McConaughey.
He gave
but
us his ear.
we got his right ear canal for like 15 minutes. So where else do you get this kind
You
of
got to love
entertainment?
Dr. Mike.
Hey, we got a story to tell. You know, I get briefed a lot by the Hammond Police Department, and they had a disturbing story, and I wanted to talk about it just to give everybody an idea of, like, Kevin did a little bit of research on this, and it's about fentanyl. And, you know, obviously, I know people that died from fentanyl personally. They were, you know, doing drugs that they thought was cocaine, and I don't want to get into details, but it was a tragedy. This is an acquaintance of mine. He had a drug problem, obviously. I didn't know about it at the time, and did cocaine with a friend of his, and they both dropped dead after they did the cocaine because they thought it was cocaine, and what they found out, unfortunately, afterwards, but it was fentanyl.
Well, you know, one of the things that we have the, I don't want to call it a pleasure because it's never a pleasure, but the we get
Yeah.
information
Yeah.
from the police
Every day,
department.
unfortunately.
And the unfortunate part of it is that you see overdoses constantly in our feed from the police department,
Yeah.
some which result in death. And by the way, almost all are related to fentanyl.
107,622 Americans died in 2021 from overdosing on fentanyl.
And 60% of those can be traced.
66% of those, excuse
so
me.
2/3.
107,622 people died of overdoses. 66% of those were from fentanyl. All right.
And if you go just to Indiana, you got 2,300.
So if it's not
70%.
fentanyl, it's what, like alcohol and pills?
Opioid maybe, or
Alcohol and pills.
Mixing it.
Right.
Who knows?
Cocaine, probably. You could overdose on
Sure.
cocaine, right?
Sure.
Indiana Department of Health in the year 2021, 2,554 Hoosiers died of drug overdoses. 70% of the deaths were caused by fentanyl and other synthetic opioids. Last year, between January 1st and August 1st, only 8 months, over 2,500 Hoosiers were lost to drug overdoses, the vast majority from fentanyl and similar drugs. The reason this is so shocking, I mean, we all know what the problem is in Indiana, and this is not a region thing. This is an Indiana thing. This is an American thing. And quite frankly, a lot of the fentanyl that's coming here is coming from Mexico through the cartels and coming from China, which I think is a grand conspiracy to kill Americans, and it's working. By the way, we have the freedom to do drugs, and if they lace it with fentanyl, we have the freedom to kill ourselves. And Hammond Police Department obviously is constantly seeing fentanyl come through, and recently,
And trying to fight to get it off the streets, by the way.
in fact, what was it? Captain Roger was just telling us the other day. What was it? 2 pounds of fentanyl they seized. It's worth like $100,000. No, it was worth $200,000, and it was stashed in a house worth half of that.
Yep.
It literally, they buy a house just to stash drugs, basically, and the drugs in there is worth way more than the house. And
Think about that.
They
and
nabbed
it's
it.
a pound.
Right.
Pound of, it was like 9, I forget how many.
Enough to
grams it
kill
was,
like
but
100,000 people. And the Hammond police found it, and that's just a small percentage of what's out there.
934.7 grams of fentanyl they found. And go ahead.
So we recently had a case in which a male was arrested for 2 counts of dealing cocaine. This is a level 2 and a level 4 felonies. And what he was dealing was 12.5 grams of crack cocaine, individually bagged. Okay. So we got this gentleman on 2 counts of dealing cocaine, crack, individually bagged, straight up dealing, and 2 counts of dealing narcotic drug, level 2 and level 4, 935 grams of fentanyl. That's just under a kilo. Okay. So the guy has almost a kilo of fentanyl and a little bit of cocaine, 12.5 grams of cocaine. How many grams are in a kilo? Like 1,000? 1,000 grams in a kilo. Yeah. What am I saying? My bad. I'm sorry. Yeah. Which is just under a kilo.
Yeah.
He was charged and sent to Lake County Jail.
And I think a kilo is 2.2 pounds, if I'm not mistaken. But maybe I'm wrong on that.
Okay. So this person, Hammond police catch him. He's got a little bit of crack, 12.5 grams of crack, and he's got almost 1,000 times more fentanyl. He goes to Lake County Jail, gets charged with level 2, level 4 felonies times 2, and gets released 12 hours later on a $4,000 bond.
Think about
Gets
that.
released 12 hours later on a $4,000 bond. He has enough fentanyl to kill 100,000 people.
Yeah, and I think this is the one of the problems that is happening. And so I don't know if Indiana's behind the times or the country's behind the times. And if you get it, what I want to say is that the federal government is a bit more on top of this. And that is that if you get charged with fentanyl, and I actually talked to John Cantrell about this, is that they don't play in, if you get charged in federal court, it's a 20-year minimum.
Right.
Okay, mandatory
That's why
minimum in federal court.
For us in the Hammond Police Department, when we get this much fentanyl, we don't want to go to state.
Yeah, you want to
Indiana's not taking care of their business. Indiana could change this so that if you're found with a tremendous amount of fentanyl like this gentleman had, you can't walk out 12 hours later, and it's not just a level 2 felony that you're going to do. You know, how much are you going to do?
Level 2 felony is 10 to 30. Level
10 to
1
30.
is 20 to 40,
10 to
which
30
is where they should be.
Divided by 2 or divided by 75%, right?
Right, 10 to 30. And by the way,
so realistically, you're going to do what? 7 years.
If you get the lowest.
And
yeah.
if you get feds get you, you're
20
going to do
mandatory minimum.
You're going to do 3 times that as a federal.
And so I think this is the problem, and this is where the gap in the law is. And when the mayor's saying Indiana's doing it wrong, we're specifically not talking about the judges, because the judges are constrained with what
the law that's
given to them by the legislature. The legislature has to fix this. They have to make, because what's happening right now.
So what is it, Kevin? So basically, if you're found with fentanyl, it could be a kilo, and you're going to get the same charges.
You're getting the same charge with like 25
if you're found
grams.
with a gram.
25 grams.
I'm found with 25 grams is low?
Right around there.
So it's between 25 grams and a kilogram, It's the same thing. Even though a kilogram will kill 100,000 people, 25 grams ain't no joke either, by the way. But like, what they need to have, just like the feds have, is a scale. Like, the more you have, the more serious the consequences are. This gentleman who could have killed 100,000 people on drug overdoses walked out of jail on a $4,000 bond. The kilo of fentanyl was worth a couple $100,000.
Yep.
And he gets out on a $4,000 bond. It's a freaking disgrace.
Yeah, and I think I misspoke.
It's a joke.
The way the current law is if you are 10 grams or more, you get charged with level 2. So
Still.
whether you have 11 grams or 984.7 grams, you're same charge. It doesn't make any sense. No sense. They have to be able to delineate and have an enhancement.
Representative Mike Andrade listens to this show.
Yeah.
This is something that could happen quickly. The Republicans would seize on this. The fact, and we have all the information for any state rep that's listening out there, for the governor's office, anything. We should take care of this right now while you guys are in session, because we got fentanyl dealers that are taking advantage of this loophole in the law, and they're walking in with 12 grams of crack and a kilogram of fentanyl. And they're getting the same sentence, basically.
Yeah, there needs to be an enhancement.
12 grams of crack could fit in your hand.
And by the way, they do have when there was a methamphetamine crisis. That wasn't too long ago, right? Meth is still a problem, but it was a crisis.
Yeah,
not
Governor
too long
Daniels
ago.
slapped down on it.
And the legislature went in, and there is a dealing in methamphetamine statute.
Right, but they also did. Remember, they did that's when you couldn't buy your pseudoephedrine
or yeah.
What's that called? Do you know?
John, you know the cough medicine.
No, it's the stuff that's in Sudafed.
Oh, okay. I thought
because they were using that to make methamphetamine. They were using it to cut basically methamphetamine.
Came off the shelves.
Crystal, yeah.
But I mean, I think the point is that we really need the legislature to do the same thing they did with meth and make it for fentanyl. So there's tougher penalties, because I'll tell you, it's got to be frustrating as a police officer in the drug unit. You're doing your job.
Yes.
You are getting this stuff off the street, and you want to see those folks that
this
are
guy
trying
walks 12 hours later,
and I guarantee you he's not around.
It took the Hammond Police Department months to get this arrest, and then we catch the guy, put him in jail. He's out 12 hours later, and he's a major fentanyl dealer. He's a distributor.
Apparently,
he's not even a street guy. He's
throwing
dealing
it in
in
drug
kilograms.
Yeah.
He's dealing in kilograms, and this guy, he's going to skip bail and he'll be gone.
I wonder. I'm going to follow that case, see if he shows up for his next court date.
We got a problem.
Yeah.
Hopefully the media picks up on this. I got all the details if you're interested in this story. It's a disgrace what's going on, and it's not the judges. It's the law that we're dealing with. The statutes are not equipped to deal with the reality of the situation going on in our state, in our country right now. So
we're asking the legislature to react and do something.
Right.
On this.
And then we got another story about somebody we follow often on this show.
Getting more funny.
Lauren Boebert.
Finishing with hopefully a little chuckle.
Whose story is this?
John's.
All right.
It's not my story.
No?
It's your story.
I thought you
Kevin.
sent it.
Hey,
You
Lauren
sent
Boebert.
it.
Does Lauren Boebert look a little bit like Marissa?
I thought you were going to say that. I thought you were.
Here we go again.
Or maybe she looks more like Nikki Kelly.
Oh yeah.
I think Boebert looks more like
Nikki.
Marissa than Haley looks like Marissa.
I think
Marissa
Boebert looks like Nikki Kelly.
Who's Nikki?
Or
Who the
Nikki
hell is
Haley. I'm
this?
sorry, Haley. I was getting Marissa's maiden name mixed up in here. So
Yeah. So what's the
What's
story,
going
guys?
on here, Kevin?
somebody sent this to me. I guess John. I thought you did.
Kevin, you literally.
This is your
swear
story.
this.
Well, John, can you
When you
scroll
put
down
a
so I
story
can
on the
see what
script,
it's-
you're supposed to pitch it. Okay. That's how it works.
So the headline of the story basically says that Lauren Boebert, we've panned her before here on the show. She's a Republican from Colorado. She's outspoken. She's always very, I guess, right-wing conspiracy. We had her at a church in Dallas not too long ago on video, and she had called out to cut funding to schools that teach students comprehensive sex ed at last week's CPAC conference. But then at the next week, she announced that her 17-year-old son, Tyler, and his girlfriend are expecting a baby boy to make her a 36-year-old grandma. But she had she also took that opportunity to take a dig at LGBTQ Americans, saying that she and her husband are raising their 4 boys to be men before liberals teach them to be women.
wow. She's a lovely lady, isn't she?
Yes, she is something. So I just thought that was interesting. I don't know, John, if you've read anything else, but
This is one of my favorite quotes from her about this. Teen mom rates are higher in rural conservative areas because they understand the preciousness of a life that's about to be born.
there you go.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
I'm
sure
sure
that's what
that's
they're
it.
all thinking.
That's exactly it. They can't wait to have kids.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
Because we know the preciousness of a life, and we're in rural America,
Yep.
so we're not getting any abortions out here.
We need to vote all these people out.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about just
She's a clown.
Republicans. All these people that are doing zero for the American people, vote them out. And I feel like that's going to be pretty much everyone.
Well, I mean, I think, John, you pointed it out that, MTG, what she's doing, it just seems to be self-promotion, not anything to do with, like...
It's like Tom said. It's all about saying the most outlandish things to raise the more money for your campaign chest.
Mm-hmm. Yep, because they'll see a surge. Every time she makes a fool of herself, there's people out there that are dropping dough on her. And when you're a congressional person pulling from the entire country, you'll raise $25,000, $30,000 a day. Every day, and it just happens
Minimum.
every morning. When you wake up, it's just flowing into your account because she says crazy shit, and there's people that enjoy what she says across the country. And from all 50 of the United States, she's taking in, $25 donations, $50 donations, and it adds up. Believe me, I was there. I was running, and when we were running for U.S. Senate, we would raise $25,000, $30,000 a day. And you could tell when I said something that really resonated, it'd be $50,000 that day. It would be like a burst, but it's a constant burst of money that's coming in to fund these campaigns. So when you see these people acting a fool, like Lauren Boebert, she's doing it for a reason because she sees that flow of money kick in when she says outlandish shit.
And that keeps their voice out there.
Well, when's the last time, like someone
It's a
like
circle.
Boebert, she actually is in the paper for something about policy?
Right.
Nothing. No, I cannot
Never.
think of a time.
That
Never.
doesn't sell. That doesn't sell papers.
It's
It doesn't result in any extra money.
criticizing Democrats and just
Right.
talking about nothing.
Yeah. Same with MTG.
Yeah, just.
But quite frankly, on our side, I'm sure AOC, when she says crazy shit, she gets hundreds of thousands of dollars also. I mean, AOC's pulling it in also. She's not totally
She was in the
innocent.
news this week about she was touting her success on killing the Amazon project in New York.
Oh, my God. That
Yeah.
is so brain dead. That's the kind of shit that she will never be able to run from. Like, what an idiot.
But I mean, I think for a certain contingent of the folks that like it's just the flip of it,
Killing
right? It's like
Amazon, you're bragging about that?
Shoot, yeah,
Even Congress people should understand that's bad for business. That is so brain dead.
Well-
Dude, thousands of jobs. That would change the economy of New York.
and her argument was that those jobs aren't ones that we want. I mean, I'm paraphrasing. I don't
That's
want
so
to.
ridiculous.
This goes back to our conversation about why Democrats are losing in Indiana. I'm telling you, it's all tied together.
But John,
Why? Because of crazy people like...
Yes, because that's the kind of stuff
'Cause-
that gets in the headlines. And
Right.
I can't vote for Tom. He
Right.
doesn't like jobs.
That's right.
But
I
then
agree with
John,
you,
the-
John. I think that's what John just said is very simple, but it's also very effective. Is when I would go to Southern Indiana and they looked at me and they said Republican or Democrat, and I said Democrat, they automatically see Nancy Pelosi and AOC. They don't see Tom McDermott. They're like, socialist. This person's going to raise my taxes.
And I think the flip of that may be true, John. If you're in a liberal state and it may be hard for a Republican to win because you're like MTG
Yep.
and Boebert,
Yeah, if you're in California, exactly the
Sure.
opposite.
right? Or Illinois, or New York, or whatever. So,
Right.
all right, we'll wrap it up, Locomotive.
All right. Appreciate it. Good to see you guys. I drove far and wide to be here. That's how much I love you guys. So thanks, Jill. Good to see you again.
Hey, good luck to Hammond Central tomorrow.
Yeah. Good luck to
Regional.
Hammond Central. Good call.
Yeah.
You going?
Regionals.
Yeah. Got
Are
my
you?
Ticket.
Awesome.
Where's that going to be at?
Michigan
Michigan
City
City.
against Mishawaka.
Wow.
I'm going to be there in spirit. I have a
spirit.
previous engagement.
Do you want me to go live and just film my ear for
Yes,
2 hours?
please
do
do the
that?
game.
That'd be great. Live from Dr. Mike's right ear.
He may be in Hanoi. He may be in Munster.
The sidewalk was great.
Jabez, thank
Yeah.
you. By the way, man, you are a pretty good producer.
That was amazing.
Right? Skyping in from Hanoi.
Well, and I thought the cool thing was John had to deal with Forright, which is not easy, by
No.
the way. Dealing with Forright, talking about who knows what before he's on, and then he was still able to get the tweets up that we needed to see.
By the way, you guys,
Good job, John.
what you don't see or hear in the audience, we hear in our headphones, and we've learned not to react to it so that it doesn't interrupt the show. But Forright's a goddamn disaster. Like, while we're sitting there doing our other bit, he's talking to us the
In our
whole
ear.
time. You guys couldn't hear it, but we could hear it, and we're still doing the show live, but he's like talking to us.
I want to compliment you because I was thinking to myself,
It was very distracting.
6 seasons ago, last
Mm-hmm.
month, 6 seasons ago, you would have been like, all right, I can't, all right, let's just go to Forright. And
Yeah.
you would have-
100%,
You would have
Kevin.
cut the.
We did
You would have
good.
cut the bit. I was like,
I'm in the
I'm
biz
proud
now.
of Tom.
I'm in the biz now.
You are in the biz.
Yeah,
So
man.
good job.
But that was distracting as hell.
Yes,
right?
it was.
Yeah, dude. He's a freaking nightmare.
John Wright.
The
The
Forright
stuff they
zone.
don't see behind the scenes. Like
I know.
I was, you guys were only like in the middle of your conversation about your tweet.
Yeah,
thing.
And the best part
in the
was
little-
coming.
in the middle,
and
right.
that's why I was like, should should I even take this? Because I'm afraid Tom's going to be like, let's just cut
I thought the
this.
same thing. And Tom rallied, man.
But like it was annoying. Like
I know.
Plus the
But
TV that
in
before
the
I on
past,
was like moving all over the place.
I'm telling you, 3-4 seasons ago, you'd have been like,
Yeah.
F this, let's just go to 4 right.
Yeah. All right.
So,
Well, yeah, I'm
good
learning.
stuff. You're in the biz.
Yeah. Thanks. It's good to see you. Look, caboose.
Thank you.
Caboose.
Even if you asked
If
for my
you are
face
in
to
town
be covered
tonight,
up,
you're
but-
going to Friendly Sons Air, and
All
I'm
right.
saying it on the air.
Thank you.
I got an open spot.
Yes, sir.
It's Friendly Sons. I would take you too, Joe. And John, I have an open spot for you also if you want to go.
Nice.
Friendly Sons, you got to wear green.
I need to
And
find something
If
green.
somebody confronts you, say you're Irish. That's the only rule. Okay. So anyway, I would take you, Joe, but it's Friendly Sons.
Whoa.
Seems to be
One
the
of the
theme
last
with everything
vestiges.
you're involved in.
Not everything.
That's not true. Tom
No.
has very few
Thank you,
male-only things anymore.
We only have two.
Yeah.
It's Friendly Sons and it's a
French Lick trip.
French Lake trip.
And the guy's trip to Vail or
Ski
no,
trips.
Park City ski trips.
Ski trips.
and-
By the
going,
way,
Kevin.
Marissa, I'm taking a woman on a ski trip with us. It's not going to work. So
Agree.
like these are
I'm not
marriage
anti this.
savers.
I'm all
Yeah,
for this.
I don't think Marissa would be cool with that. Like, hey, we're going on a ski trip with these girls, right? That's not going to
I am
work.
pro boys trips.
I agree. So there you go,
I'm
Joe.
not anti. I'm just stating a fact.
Yeah, you don't go on like ski trips with guys. Come on, that doesn't work. It's just
I mean, hey.
this is
whatever.
civilized society, Joe. We can't be doing that.
It's
kind
a
of stuff.
civilized.
Drink
we
from
better
your
end
own
this
water
show.
fountain.
Man, this is one of our best wrap ups.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, thanks, Kevin. Good to see you.
right.
And thanks to our audience. We appreciate you. Thanks to our sponsors. And Lockpod Season 8, Episode 20 is in the books. Thanks for listening. Lockpod's out.